What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Banger Girl, and I'm back with another banger. Okay. In today's video, I have one of my good friends, Sharif, who's a beat maker, producer, a mixing and mastering engineer. He's worked on radio, he's worked in television, he's worked in the industry. He's really just like a renaissance guy, and he inspires me, gives me words of encouragement. And I like to think of him not only as a friend, but one of my mentors. I reached out to him to see if he would hop on a Zoom call with me and just critique the mixes that I've been doing. I want him to give me some feedback. Let me know what I need to improve. Let me know what I need to stop doing immediately. So I'm hoping that this is going to be an informative video. I'm hoping it's going to be entertaining, and I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy it. So he just emailed me the Zoom link. I'm going to click on the link and I'm going to start recording everything from the moment I click on that link. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss content like this that drops on my channel weekly. All right? All right. So without further ado, let's get it.
This one, right?
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay. That was weird. You just gotta flow like water. Gotta flow like water.
Banger Girl.
So like this, like your two kicks here, this main kick. I like what you did with this. Let me just move this section here real quick. And then like we was talking about just before on making sure that these like this kick and the 808, we're talking about the low frequency stuff, making sure that the low frequency, they don't cloud each other up and cloud up that space. They kind of lend each other. Now, you can do a couple of things. The one thing that is here is that cutting out just put this EQ here just for the analyzer. Right, so this is the 808. This is that kick. So we need to take this kick a little bit and start cutting some of that lower frequency out. So on the Neve console emulation joint. EQ, let's cut out closer to around like 80, 90 hertz. Anywhere within here, try to cut some of this out. It's still there a little bit. So what I would do is, like with this EQ now, let me just open this up a little bit. I would do a cut on here, low pass, high pass cut. Maybe at like 18 dB. and then low pass on the 808. Let's tighten that up a little bit from the top end. There we go. They play a little bit better together. And you can always do a side chain, right? So basically on this compressor here that's on the kick drum, I mean on the 808, we could go and use the kick drum as the trigger.
But in this instance, did I have to, or could I just?
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Not in this instance. You don't have to. Just saying as the alternative, you can aim it, see how it sounds doing the side chain. What does it feel like to you? Again, it's not so much of, is that a correct thing to do? Yes. But does not necessarily work? Ultimately, your ears and what you feel with the music at the end of the day is what it's about too. And understanding, you know, the genre and all that kind of stuff and the style, what you're trying to represent. Because all these tools and techniques that we learn that they work, but they're not for every application or every style, or not necessarily fit what you're trying to achieve. You know, ultimately, yes, sonically and you know, frequency wise and all this stuff, because it's got to play well across this and that, of course. But that's the great thing about music, because there's so much music, so much. I personally believe way more out there from every genre that's not sonically and mathematically and music theoretically correct. That's just amazing, and everybody feels it and loves it. They're classic records in every genre. I think it's way more of that than it is, this is so perfect. Come on, that's not even how it go. Like, you know, as great as Stevie Wonder is as a singer and a musician, there's things that a musician who's classically trained, I'd be like, that's not correct the way he's playing it. But like, do you feel that? Do you hear that? Do you feel that? You can't deny that at the end of the day. That's what that's about. You know, so I love James Brown with that. Doesn't mean you don't do the correct things, but try it. And at the end of the day, you know, on that, but you don't have to in this instance, but just doing it in essence, you could have went there and say, listen, hey. And then let's say, oh, no. Not necessarily. You know, because then you're kind of doing it with what cutting the frequencies that we're colliding between the kick and the 808, getting them out each other way, right? They're still kind of bleeding a little bit over each other, but that's okay, because they're part of the low frequency spectrum. They're supposed to support each other in this. So did a good job on that. The snare in this instance, I would use the FET. It punches through a little more. More back. You ain't got to compress, because obviously if I do too much compress, I'm gonna make it really like tight. Really, it's already like a light snap, right? So you can bring the compression down some, because you still want the but you just want it to pop a little more. That's really it. Just changing that compressor. The FETs and any of the model people who make them, everybody makes them now, emulation. They're just really great they're great for everything, but that punch to get something to cut through a mix, vocal, guitars, definitely transient thing, the drums and stuff like that. Dope.
Okay, cool.
So just changing that, you know, you don't have to do too much compression. Now it pops out like this. And And we ain't gotta really mess with the volume.
Volume and stuff like that, yeah.
You got that popping now, yeah. Hi-hats is great. I love that one.
With the open hat with like the
with the
tremolo.
Yeah. Woo. And with the reverb on it, it is a ghostly vibe. It's dope. And you got your tape running on the drum bus. Nice.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what the like the top knob on it, what is it, bias? That's for like the low end, is the middle.
Yeah, the bias
for mids, and then the bottom for high, like.
Yeah. So yeah, you did it right. You got it right.
Okay.
Yeah, and then usually these guys on a lot of the tape emulations, the input and output is tied together.
Yeah, you can unlink it and stuff.
Yeah, you unlink them, see how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit it a little bit more, hitting that tape a little bit more. It just makes it.
I know, like
it makes such a difference. Oh, that was great.
I've been playing around with like the tape. I've been like really playing around with like mixing and trying to get better. And I'm like, it's low key fun, but I feel like I needed to do it at this point.
Right.
Then when I was like still learning how to produce, it wasn't the right time. Now I can like.
Because now you got production.
Yeah, the basics. Yeah, like
you
I
got
know
that kind of under.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I still kind of have issues with like melodies, like when they're on the same frequency area, like how to get them distinct enough. I know you can like pan and like.
Yeah, certain things like your main melody part.
And then without having it sound like muddy and they're like competing with each other,
Like the main part, the main melody instrument should be in the middle. Anything that's complementing or
should be panned left or right.
It should be panned, a little left to the right, maybe a quarter after, a quarter to. I like to sometimes I'll double the track and pan them,
So it gives like a stereo kind of.
Stereo vibes. So then I'll cut out. If the main melody instrument has some low mid, high mid frequencies, typically it will, right?
Cut those out.
I'll keep that in there, right? And then when I double it, I'll cut those out of the other
double track.
Right, and just let the high mid and highs be the complementing layer, to give it space, right? Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Having that movement is key too. Having movement in your mix. And
I've been kind of like trying to do that and like put tremolos and like
tremolo on things
and effects.
You think of the main meat of the track, like the main drums, the kick, snare, 808, the bass line, if it's whatever bass, the main melody instrument, all that's like dead center, right? Then all the other things that are probably part of it, guitar, melody, whatever, those things can start playing with the stereo field. Yeah, just doing that stuff with the
like just panning left and right.
Yeah, and having just again the things that are not the main meat of the track, the main parts, having those other parts either statically pan, where they're like, I just pan over here, and then maybe have a couple of things where they're moving. And I'm glad you're trying the tremolo stuff and auto panning at different, because it's all musical, right? Mixing is also a musical thing too. It's not just the production part of it, but it's like how you got this panning, like some things you may have panning at a quarter note, some things you may pan like every 2 bars.
Yeah.
So it's like, boom. Just like how we do, for example, it's kind of like lo-fi, kind of trap, lo-fi kind of beat, right? Even though it's at 120, but you got the hits, the rhythmic hits, the drum hits are doing it at 60. Some things are moving at, double time, half time, quarter of the time. They give you that type of syncopation. So even in with certain mixing, with certain definitely movement effects, like auto pan, tremolo, delay, things that are gonna add movement and distance and stuff. Play around with different musical time signatures, or musical timing, those type of, half notes, quarter notes, dotted, things of that nature. Again, you don't want to have things jumping all over the place because the listener be like, what the hell is going on? But it allows, again, what you do, have that boom, giving that space for everybody to live in within that stereo feel, because all this is moving, eventually, not right now, but eventually, immersive mixing, it's something you're gonna have to have under your belt. You're gonna do it. You are a master at it, maybe not, but just knowing and understanding how it works as a producer, and you're an engineer as well. You're a producer, but you're also engineering your own stuff. Play like you're saying, you're doing stuff, but you're like, let me start messing with these things that I've learned about, and actually in a real application, and see like, how does this feel when I'm turning this knob or running something, do this, and the differences. Because then you start to understand, like, oh, I know why when I want to use this. When not use it, over something else.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you're stereo out, so you got the tape, you got the stealth. The only thing, again, I would add underneath this, between the stealth and the tape, is an EQ. And the EQ, again, you can use the one that's part of Logic, is graphic EQ, which emulates the API. Graphical EQ is awesome. And when you have it on stereo out, I would use the linear phase version.
Okay.
Right, and you could do spike things. I just brightened up some of the highs.
Yeah, just a little bit,
and cut some of the low frequency out of the whole track. Just a little bit. That frequency, like 63 hertz. I didn't have to. This is at 0, so that's cool. Just a little bit down on that, because it's already gonna boom. Because you run this through a mastering program, somebody's gonna master. They're gonna bring all that up anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I'm boosting the output, because this is emulating that. Even a little punchy, so it's kind of going to the saturation or the console emulation thing. Boosting some of those harmonics, as they would call it. But it does make a difference. And again, hearing what the difference is, if you like it or not, understanding, an understanding of is like what you hear. What is it doing to the sound? That's bottom line, is what it goes down to, You can get
for sure.
All the theoretical and scientific semantics about it, whatever. Yeah. But it's still about, what James say. Does it sound good? Does it feel good? Then it is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, boom, this is hot. This is dope. You did a great job.